Alright, well, we're back with another video, and I actually have someone filming it today. Today we're going to talk about wastegates. If you don't know what a wastegate is, basically all the pressure, all the exhaust that goes to the turbo, it's pressure. So this is basically just a pressure relief valve. There's separate springs you can put in here, change how fast the valve opens, at what pressure. That's basically all you need to know. That's how it works, realistically. So we're going to be running two wastegates. These are the eBay Special, 50 millimeters. Come with V-band flanges on the bottom, and they also come with a V-band flange up here. I bought some 2-inch diameter stainless steel. I cut it down, and it fits right in place. So I'm not going to go ahead and tack anything yet, because we still got to get our fitment. But right here is kind of how I want this. I want to come down on a little bit of an angle, so this is going to be kind of parallel with the header. So we're going to mark this, we're going to notch that out, and then hopefully get that right in place. The fitment's not the greatest. Before I go and tack anything, I'm going to go get started on the other side. All this in here, I'll just plasma cut this out, clean it up, and then we can tack this on, weld it right in place. For this side, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. I got to get this to fit flush here, and then the wastegate's going to be above the turbo, and we're going to send that tube right out this way. I got this one all ground down. We're gonna put it right over here. And like I said, it's gonna go right above the turbo a little bit. That fitment's probably the best I can get it without totally changing it. I think something like that should be good. Once I finish TIG welding everything on this main portion of the turbo kit, that's going to be it. This should be installed for the final time. The wastegates are going to be in place. Everything's going to be happy. I'm gonna tell you this right now. There's a lot of people that don't want me to go with this style exhaust, but what's the fun in that? If we're gonna build all this, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna make power, I wanna hear it. Fender exit exhaust, that thing is gonna be shot right out the fender. We're gonna shoot fireballs, maybe even blow up the turbo and shoot that right out the side of the truck. I have no idea, but that's not gonna stop me. Eventually, I wanna do like a street style exhaust too, so we can have both. But to start this thing up, we are 110% doing a fender exit. Alright, so I got our little exhaust made up. It's going to be a perfect fender exit. Obviously, we're going to have to put an O2 sensor. I buy these stainless steel O2 sensor bungs. For what we're doing, it's going to be perfect. I already figured out my area that I want. Hoping this goes right in without me. Perfect. Stainless usually is pretty tough. So I don't kill my drill bit completely. Use a little bit of cutting fluid. I use engine oil sometimes, tighten that drill bit a little bit tighter. Now, in order to step that up, we're just gonna use our step bit here. Make sure you wear safety glasses with this, because it's gonna go everywhere. Just be easy with it. Do a little bit, and check. I gotta go a tiny bit more. Right there, that's gonna be perfect. This thing already has a contour to it, so that's gonna fit up nice. If you really wanted to, you could put your O2 sensor in the bung, then make it fit, but you can tell that it's gonna fit already. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get this tacked up, finish weld that all the way around, and then one thing that's important, anything that's inside is gonna blow out anyways once this thing fires up, but just as good practice, if you're doing any turbo pipes, try and get everything out of it, because if this was the hot side, any metal shavings would go right into the turbo. I've been TIG welding for a few hours now. Honestly, I've had it. I must have dipped my tungsten in this puddle about 37 times. But it's on there. Not the greatest, but it's on there. Everything's just fighting me today. Can't you tell I've had enough? I want to do something fun. I love welding, but man, today I'm just not feeling it. The good thing is, the end is near. We're almost done with the turbo, which is a nice thing because I'm ready. I'm ready to be done with this damn thing. I got a lot of hours in this. It's not going to be the nicest turbo kit in the world, but we're not setting any records here. I'm sharing my experience building my first turbo kit, and a lot of this, I really didn't research, to be honest. I researched some stuff, but I just grasped the general understanding of how a turbo kit works. So, some things are great, some things aren't. I'm gonna tell you right now, this fender exit exhaust is probably the nicest thing on the whole turbo kit. Everything else, I mean, it's the first time. It's not gonna be nice. Pretty mediocre. But that right there, that is our first fender exit exhaust. And I'm super stoked for it. So the next thing I gotta do, swap over that O2 sensor. We're coming up to a point, guys, that I'm super excited about. Because a lot of this stuff that I'm doing right here, we're doing this for the final time. This whole section of this turbo is staying. The only thing that's gonna come off is that header over there, because I have to modify it. If you guys have been with me from the beginning here, you know there's been quite a few videos about this turbo kit. It takes time. It definitely takes time, and I'm learning this as I go. So to have this stuff on here, and I'm tightening this clamp for the final time. All these, the feed line, the drain line, the clamp down here to go to the actual kit, all this is on here for the final time. We should be, next time this comes off is when something bad happened. I'm gonna tell you that. Here's our fender exit exhaust going right out the side here. I was able to even cut it on a little bit of an angle, so it came kind of cool. I probably could have cut it a little bit better, but for the first time, I love it. That's great. These are our dumps. Those are just gonna kind of dump like that because I don't have any more pipe, and that's the best I can do right now. If you look at the welds, I'm gonna tell you right now, some of the welds, horrible. Some of the welds I learned a lot from. I was able to do things pretty nice. Some of the other welds, not so much. Material, for whatever reason, I was either running too hot or whatever. But it's been a learning experience. That's the whole reason why I'm doing it. Now it's time to work on the intercooler piping. I already have the intercooler mapped out how it's gonna go. It's gonna go straight under here, right behind the bumper. It's gonna be kind of below the frame. You might see it from the front, but it's gonna go right under there, straight up into the motor. Our blow-off valve is gonna go right here. Air temperature sensor is gonna go right here. Moved on to our aluminum welding. I learned a pretty cool tip. So, first off, I'm gonna say that I really don't have a ton of aluminum experience under my belt, but that's okay, because that's how we learn. This whole kit is a learning process to take us to the next level for when we actually need it. Hopefully we need it. Something good's gonna happen. Anyways, but our torch is set up. Our tungsten's balled. We're set to AC. The machine is ready to go. All right, now this is where you got to be very careful, a little bit at a time. We want that to fit right in there, perfect. That right there, exactly what you want. It slips right in, tiny bit of resistance, perfect. Now, we got to be very gentle so we don't mess this up. Obviously, I'm not the best here. I'm working with what I got, which is a very old school welder, and trial and error. And I'm pretty damn excited. All right in there. Now the idea, obviously, center this up. Everything's welded all the way around. And look at that right inside. Perfect. You really cannot beat that. It doesn't get any better than that. You could go in and smooth things up a little bit, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go in with a file, get all the loose stuff up, and that's good enough for me. I'm surprised this stuff welded all right, too. This is a very cheap eBay kit. The good news is we're nearing the end of all the little stuff. We have our exhaust now, our wastegates are on, the dumps are on. We're gonna have the blow-off valve installed, our air temp sensor is gonna be installed. You might not look it, you can tell, it's starting to look more of like a turbo kit now. The whole picture is coming together. Should have a pretty good area to accommodate for the intercooler underneath. My only concern is if it's going to hang down a little bit, because I don't want to run into issues with it. My main goal is to go fast on the track, but you better believe I'm going to drive this thing everywhere during the week. The nearest track from me, it's about 2 hours, so it's not like we can rip this thing at the track every weekend. A lot of our driving is going to be on the street. And then the next thing. This dreaded header. See how that steering shaft goes directly through the header? Yep, that's what we're going to be working on next. But that's going to be for a different video. We've covered a little bit of everything in this video. As you can tell, we got our fender exit exhaust over there. Both wastegates on with the dumps for that. We got our blow-off valve, our air temp sensor on. Things are really starting to come together. I'm still waiting on the center section for the rear end, and that's gonna go off and get painted once we get that. In the meantime, I'm gonna work on that header. I'm gonna get the radiator in place. We're gonna make a brace for that turbo, and then we're doing pretty good. The opening day for the track, I wanna say, is April 6th. I'm gonna try my best to be there. No promises, but I'm trying my best. That's why I'm putting in all the hours trying to get all this stuff done. With enough work, anything's possible, so I'm hopeful. But in the meantime, this thing's gonna make some power. We're gonna need a different fuel pump, and we're probably gonna max out those injectors. So it's time I do a little bit of research on other people's combos, what they did. Maybe someone used that same massive eBay turbo If you did, drop a comment on what you guys are using. As you know, there's a lot of firsts on this build, and this turbo kit is one of my first things I've ever done. From almost a year ago, we made it to 4,300 subscribers. There's a lot of people that like what we're doing here. I just want to say thank you guys for all the love and support and all the good comments that I get from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. There's a lot of good things that people have to say. There's a lot of bad, and I kind of like constructive criticism, so if you got something bad to say it too. But I say thank you in pretty much every video. You guys help out the channel so much, and I'm glad you guys found a channel that you like. And there's a whole lot more to come. I'm not going anywhere. So guys, I will catch you on the next one.